We are following some breaking news right now. This is coming out of Maryvale High School, where we have just learned that a fight has broken out and two people have been injured. These are two male students. We've just learned that one of those students was taken to the hospital. Actually, both of them were taken to two separate hospitals. One has life-threatening injuries. The other one has non-life-threatening injuries.
And so we are told by Phoenix Union High School District here that the school is on lockdown right now. Sky 12 over this school, as you can see right now, just to kind of figure out where students are gathering, if they are, where parents are, and where police are at this time. We also have someone on the ground right now. Our Gabriella Becerra is there gathering more information, trying to figure out what exactly maybe could have prompted this fight. Also, what exactly is going on at this time, because as Tran mentioned, Gabby, as we bring you in here, we do know two of these boys, these students, are now in the hospital, and it started as some kind of fight. I mean, do we know what started this fight?
At this time, there's not a whole lot of information that's being shared with us. We are speaking with some parents out here who seem to have a little bit more information from their children, who are texting them from inside. But as you know, the school is on lockdown. Behind me, you can see pretty quiet out here. There's that security guard standing at the gate. We know a couple of parents have been trying to get in, trying to get their kids out of school, even though the district has told parents to not come onto campus, that it is an active lockdown. They did say that there is no active threat at this time. That fight seemed to be the only indication that anything was wrong. Still, these parents tell me that their children are texting them, telling them that they heard it could be a possible stabbing that happened here. The school district and police have yet to confirm that information. But a lot of nervous kids texting their parents, telling them that they're scared, they don't know what's going on. The parents did tell me that they heard the threat was isolated immediately, but they're hoping to get more information from the school district. And we did just confirm that this is an active, or it was a stabbing that happened here just a few hours ago. So we're working to get more information out here. Parents say they've been trying to call the district. They've been trying to speak with administration about what's happening out here. They did tell me that there are metal detectors at this school, so they don't know how any weapons could have been brought in. Again, those are things we're going to be working to figure out throughout the day, and we'll share those answers with you when we have them. Back to you guys.
All right, our Gabriella Becerra reporting live for us there. As we are hearing, Maryvale High School is on lockdown after this incident that police, you were just able to tell us, have confirmed is a stabbing that happened in one of these classrooms between two students.
The main part here is we want to assure, because a lot of parents obviously very worried, that everything is all right as far as safety is concerned.
And any other threats.
Exactly. School officials have said that there is no present danger and all other students and staff are safe. Again, Gabby just confirming, as well as Phoenix PD, they are saying that a stabbing took place. Phoenix Union High School officials say that this incident had happened inside a classroom. This entails two male students, both of whom were taken to two separate hospitals. One has life-threatening injuries, the other one does not. Yep. And again, that school still remains on lockdown. We just saw a Phoenix police cruiser go onto the campus right now. We haven't seen a lot of police activity, however, from where she was standing.
From where she was standing, exactly. And as we mentioned, you know, there is no active threat going on at the school right now, even though it is still on lockdown, as police, of course, have to interview people who witnessed what happened, gather more evidence, and just kind of figure out how this all could have gotten started, and also how a weapon could have ended up on campus as well, with elevated security measures in place at Phoenix Union High School District, including at Maryvale High School. We know they had implemented, metal detectors there, and so there's just a lot of questions right now how a weapon could have gotten on campus. Want to let parents know Phoenix police are requesting for parents to continue to follow school directions for the students' release. I'm sure a lot of parents pretty nervous right now, just want to get in touch with their kids or maybe just get them home right now. Of course, students these days have phones. They're able to, some communicate with their parents, let them know they are okay. But unfortunately, two students now in separate hospitals, and one of of them does have life-threatening injuries after this fight broke out in a classroom.
We're showing you video right now from Sky 12. Again, this is happening at Maryvale High School, located near 59th Avenue and Osborne Road. Again, the school is still in lockdown, even though there is no present danger and all the students and staff are safe. Right now, for more insight on what exactly happens during a school lockdown, we want to bring in Jeff Hines. He's a retired Phoenix police commander. He's been with Phoenix Police for about 32 years now. Jeff, thanks for joining us. I know that, you've been kind of folded into what is happening right now with Maryvale High School being on lockdown. What happens in a situation like this?
Well, first of all, for your listeners and your viewers, anytime there is an act of violence on a high school or a school property, Phoenix PD is one of the best trained agencies in the country for their response to this. They practice these. They train for response to high schools and acts of violence on campuses. Fortunately, this was between two students in a classroom, and still, even though it was an isolated incident, the school went on a lockdown. They did exactly what they're trained to do. They did, for the parents listening or the parents responding, understand that your children are safe. The classroom, when we say lockdown, they locked in place in their classrooms, and bad people or people wishing to do them harm cannot get into these classrooms. The first officers on the scene, when there's an act of violence going on, what they're going to do is they immediately go to where that problem is at. If it's somebody with a knife, if it's somebody with a gun, they're going to instantly engage that person and end the potential for the violence to continue. Now, you can read into what end means, but end is they're going to assertively end whatever acts of violence are occurring on a college, a high school, a grade school campus. In this case here, seeing this on the news, Maryvale is truly, it's a big campus, but I'm here to tell you and your listeners and your viewers that this looks like it was done perfectly, especially since it was in a classroom. They still did the lockdown. They allowed the students to text their parents. PD responded, nailed it down, and now we're in an investigative phase of this incident. And so that means interviewing people. Yes, go ahead.
So, Jeff, I was just wondering if this was an isolated incident, which is, a better case scenario versus something that happened throughout the entire school. Right. I mean, if that's the case and there's no present danger, all the students, all the staff are safe, then why not lift the lockdown?
I can't tell you that because I'm not there. There may be some additional information as far as making sure that the weapons were recovered, not wanting students to locate, say, a knife, or in this case it was a knife. Being there, I just yield to the on-campus officers that are there. I can assure you they're going to be thorough. They're going to have the utmost care on the student's safety. And just ask everybody's patience. Let them do their job. They're very, very good at what they do, and they have your kids' interests at heart, and they will release the campus as soon as they can. I can assure you of that.
Jeff, I want to ask you, as much as you can tell us with your experience here, what happens when a lockdown is placed on in a high school, in a school? When you're that student on the inside, are you hearing it come over PA? Is it something through your teacher that's telling you, hey, we're on lockdown? I mean, how does that get implemented throughout the entire school?
It's an amazing process, and it's a very smooth process. The school trains, the officers train for the response. If there is an SRO on that campus, which I believe there probably is, I don't know that for sure, but I'm just going to assume that there is, they do things in a very calm, smooth manner. There's usually an announcement over the PA system. We're in a situation where we're locking down and securing into our classrooms. They don't give a lot of information, but they want to just do everything in a very smooth, clear, precise manner so students don't get upset, that they actually do what they're instructed to do. They practice this, understanding the safest place for them to be on that campus is in their classrooms in a lockdown situation. makes that absolutely easy to manage and very safe for our children who are on these campuses. So when parents hear that their school's in a lockdown, they should take that deep breath and say, oh, good, I understand that they train for this, they respond to this. Our students, our kids are safe. They're locked down in their classroom, and they will not release that until everything's secure, everything's safe. In this case here, it appears that they're in an investigative function right now, and as soon as they're done with that, they'll release and unsecure the campus.
Right, of course, because there's still so many questions right now, like we've talked about how this fight got started. Where is that weapon? How did the weapon end up on campus in the first place? And so just a lot of answers we're still looking for.
And for this
Absolutely.
investigation to, come to its completion, I mean, how long are we looking at? I mean, are we looking at possibly an hour or so? Because I know a lot of parents, they will want to pick up their kids if class is dismissed. And in past cases like this, where school has been on lockdown, it's pretty hard for, the students and the staff to continue with classes. And usually there's a separate off-site location for parents to pick up their kids. So explain, what would happen next.
They're just going to let this play out. And looking at the visual on-scene cameras, it doesn't seem to be any excitement on the campus. It looked like your security officers, another officer was responding, came in calmly, smoothly. I can't say exactly how long it's going to take. It could be 30 minutes, could be an hour. All I can tell you is that in today's world, we all have phones. We all have the ability to text our parents. The big thing that the students should say is, Mom and Dad, I'm in my classroom. I'm locked down. It is all safe. And now we're just waiting for the release to occur. And once that occurs, then the parents will be instructed where to pick their kids up. And it should be a normal dispersal of students because the threat is gone. So if you're used to picking your students up on 59th Avenue, if you're used to picking your kids up whatever side of the school you pick it up, it's just going to be normal protocol because the threat is gone. There is no present danger on the campus currently.
All right, Jeff Hines, retired Phoenix PD commander. Please stay with us. I just want to recap everyone, if they're just joining us right now, on what exactly happened here and what they're looking at. You are seeing Sky 12, where you were a second ago, over Maryvale High School near 59th Avenue in Osborne after it was placed on lockdown because of a stabbing inside one of the classrooms. That resulted in 2 students being sent to different hospitals, one of them now with life-threatening injuries, the other one non-life-threatening injuries, but both being treated. And Maryvale Maryvale High School is still actively in lockdown here. And Tram, I want to just mention that school, it's only been in session for 2 weeks now. So the school year is still pretty fresh here. So for this to happen is still pretty alarming. We know there are advanced security measures in place. And so right now, just a lot of questions for parents and authorities about how this could have happened.
Yeah, and we have crews on the ground right now bringing you the very latest. We want to go straight out to Gabriela Becerra. She originally arrived on scene just a couple minutes ago. Gabby, what can you tell us?
Well, there's a lot of parents out here wondering, like everyone else, what is going on. They're getting frantic texts from their children who were inside the school when this happened. I'm here with Veronica. She's a mother. Tell me what your son texted you this morning.
It was about 11 o'clock. He texted me and just said, Mom, something's happening at school. We're on lockdown. So I said, okay, I'm coming. Right after that, I got a text from the school about 11:15. We're on lockdown, but don't come to the campus. I was already here. I'm still getting no information from the school. I've gotten information more from my son than the school. They still aren't answering phone calls. They're still not letting us in the gate. So,
what went through your mind when you heard that another student was stabbed here on campus?
I mean, that's heartbreaking. Somebody sent their kid to school, and this is what's going on. I mean, it could have been mine. So.
And you said this is not an unfamiliar situation for you. Tell me.
Nope, this isn't something it happens quite often here at Maryvale. Like, my son's been here since his freshman year, and his freshman year I got maybe 2 or 3 texts from him that something was happening in school. Last year as well, and I mean, we're 2 weeks into school, and this is what's already going on.
What was your son telling you? Is he scared? Is he nervous about what's happening?
He's just, I'm sure he's scared. You know, Mom, come get me. Are you coming? Are you here? And I just have to keep reassuring him I'm outside. I'm outside. You know, they're not letting me in. I'm outside. He's gone to the restroom, I think, twice and has called me. And I just have to keep telling him I'm out here. I'm outside and I'm waiting. As soon as I can get you, I will.
And he said classes are continuing as normal. What's going on inside the school right now?
That's what he said. He said he was at lunch and he was like, lunch is over. And now they're sending us to our 5th period. And that's just what usually happens. I mean, I know that after today, the school's going to send a text message to downplay what's happened today and not give us any information, just like they're not now. And that's it. And then tomorrow they'll resume with classes as if nothing happened today.
We know that there's metal detectors here. You said that. So what kind of changes do you want to see made to improve safety?
Well, I mean, the metal detectors have been there since last year. So, and last year we had the same incidents, things happening, you know, my son sending me these text messages, and I just don't know what else. It's like the school doesn't hear, you know, like this is going on, it's been going on. I don't know if they're going to make any changes because it doesn't seem that way. So we've actually had the conversation, me and my husband, that maybe it's time to move him schools, even though this is where he wants to be. It's his junior year, but for his safety, maybe it's just best.
And so you told me that you tried to get in here. What did they tell you when you tried to enter the campus?
He just told me I couldn't come in.
What kind of answers would you like to hear from the school?
I just feel like there needs to be more communication. There isn't any at all. There isn't any. I've been calling the school for now an hour and 15 minutes and still no answers. No answers at all.
And will you plan on taking your son out as soon as they let you, even if it's before classes end for the day?
Yeah. I'm just waiting here for that gate to open for them to let me in there to take him, and that's that. And we will probably look into another school because this is just too much already.
Tell me why, you know, even after the campus told you not to come to school, to take your son out, why did you show up here and even stand across the street in this heat to be here with him?
Because that's my child. You know, I'm his mom. So. And even though he tells me, like, I'm okay, I'm not going to be okay until I see him. That's it.
Have you guys just been texting back and forth, reassuring him?
I'm just texting him, like, I'm still here, son. I'm outside. I'm coming. You know, as soon as they let me in, I'm going to be in there to get you. And he's asking me, like, Mom, do you have your ID? I have it. I'm coming, you know, and he's gone to the restroom already twice. Has called me, Mom, I'm in class. Mom, what are they saying? Mom, are they, you know, and that's it. And I mean, and he says that he was told as well, like, you're not supposed to have your phone. You're not supposed to have your phone on campus. And I get that, like, that's a rule, but for these reasons is the reason why my child will continue to bring his phone to school.
As far as the rest of the day goes, you said your son is still in classes. Do you feel like he's going to be able to focus with all of this going on?
Nope, not at all. I mean, it's been 11 o'clock, I said, since he's texted me, and I'm sure he's just waiting for Mom to text him and be like, they let me in. So it's not, and that's the thing, is they try to let them keep going to classes if everything's okay, and it's not okay. It's not. So.
Well, thank you so much, Veronica. We'll toss it back to you guys in the studio. A lot of parents out here just still waiting for answers. We now know it's an isolated incident, but again, you heard they just want to be reassured that their children are safe and see that for themselves.
Yeah, I mean, Gabby, something that struck me about what, you know, you asked her was, is your son even going to be able to concentrate, you know, as they continue throughout the day? And she said, of course not. They're worried. You want to see your mom, right? You want to see your dad, some comfort. And that leads to something else I'm wondering about in the aftermath of all of this is what resources are there available for the students who witnessed what happened inside of that classroom? So, Gabby, we'll let you keep working your sources out there. Actually, and you have something.
Yeah, I just want to get more of a lay of the land behind you there, Gabby, because again, you know, if the school is still on lockdown, obviously the police are still conducting their investigation. It doesn't look like there's a whole lot of activity behind you. And I'm wondering, that was just one parent you were next to. Are there more around you? I mean, what is happening around you right now?
Well, I've talked to several parents. There's not a ton of parents that are out here right now. I'm sure that messaging from the school telling parents to stay off campus worked in some capacity. We know they don't want just so many people showing up here and flogging the area. There are some more cars starting to show up. I would say maybe a half dozen. At this point, though, you would never be able to tell that there was some sort of emergency going on. We know there were several ambulances and police cars here earlier, but right now this is all we can see from where we're standing at the front of the school, just that security guard standing by the gate, turning parents away. You heard from Veronica. She tried to get into campus. When she first arrived, she said she tried several times and they are turning people away. I actually want to direct you over to my left where there are some parents, again, just waiting by the gates, presumably just hoping to see their kids, make sure they're okay for themselves. We know it's an isolated incident and there is no threat, but these parents just want that reassurance. And so that's what they're waiting for. And they're hoping that as soon as the school lets them in, we don't know if that will be before the school day ends, that they can take their kids home and again, just have that peace of mind that they're safe.
So real quick, again, we saw one police cruiser slide in through those gates behind you earlier. Do you see any more police presence at all?
All the way south is what my photographer was saying, who got here much before me. From the front, again, it just is the security cards. Now, they could be inside the gate on campus out of our sight, and I'm sure they are. But from where we're standing, again, it doesn't look like there's an emergency going on at all.
Okay, Gabby, thank you so much. I just want to let people know Maryvale High School is on an active lockdown right now, even though Phoenix police are telling us there is no further threat to the community or students right now. But they did confirm to us that around 11 a.m. they got a call to that school about reports of a stabbing that happened there. And sadly, 2 students injured in this one. They're telling us it was an isolated incident, but both of these students, these boys, are now in the hospital, 2 separate hospitals. And one of them does have life-threatening injuries here.
Yeah, we're still waiting for a lot of information. I also do find it interesting that class is resuming. So we hope to get some response from school officials regarding that, because again, there's a lot of worried parents out there, even though, again, everything is okay. The students, the staff, everybody is safe. There is no present danger. But again, still waiting on the identity of the victims, those 2 boys involved. Really, what led up to this stabbing? What exactly happened? Again, this is an isolated incident. Thank goodness it was not, widespread throughout the school. So again, it sounds like they have this under control, but there is still an active investigation still happening, which hence that is why the school is still on lockdown. Still waiting to hear on when this lockdown will be lifted. So we're still waiting for a lot more information.
Right, and we do hear that Phoenix police will be out there speaking with our Gabriela Becerra here shortly, and so she can ask these questions about what we know happened between these students inside of this classroom. Also, as far as when this lockdown could potentially be lifted, so that parents who do choose to take their students out of school for the rest of the day can do so. Now, as Sky 12 is zooming in a little bit more, this is where more of the police are kind of centered here on the side part of the school here. I mean, you're still within the campus, right? You see the parking lot there with students and teachers' vehicles parked, but you see at least 1, 2, 3, 4 police cruisers here parked at the school because it is still actively under lockdown, even though there is no present threat. Tram, I mentioned school started about 2 weeks ago yesterday, so still very new school year. And I know that the school hoping that their enhanced measures for safety would make a difference here for this school year. But as we just heard from a mom, she feels like, a situation is happening at this school far too often, despite these enhanced measures here. And now she says, unfortunately, she has to think about taking her child out of this school, even though it is where her son wants to be, but she just maybe doesn't feel it's safe anymore for him to attend.
We're also getting word that there's some social media showing that one of the students being put into an ambulance. There was CPR being performed on that student. There's also social media video of the actual fight and the stabbing. However, we have gotten word that it's also too graphic to show, so obviously we're not going to show that. But again, social media video circulating as to what exactly happened here at Maryvale High School. I want to go back to retired Phoenix Police Commander Jeff Hines. Jeff, I found it interesting that according to the parents, that school is still being resumed after something like this. Is that usual? I feel like in the past when we've reported situations like this, you know, there's a big staging area for parents to pick up their kids because school has been dismissed. Is this kind of an anomaly?
No, not really. If it's an isolated situation, it's been absolutely found to be within one classroom, and it's nailed down, locked down, and the parties have been removed from the school. The officers are just doing their part. As you see on your live shot there, the number of officers that respond. Once again, for the parents that are watching this or listening, Phoenix Police Department is one of the most proactive agencies in the country for proactively responding to incidents at high schools, colleges, grade schools. And you see just their placement of their vehicles around this school. We take this incredibly serious. You drop everything you're doing and you roll on these. These are put out as high priority. I'm here to tell you, officers have kids, and they have kids that are in schools, and so they're going to take this personally. They're going to respond smoothly, professionally, thoroughly, and they're going to do exactly what their training has taught them to do.
Absolutely,
and
Jeff. Hey, Jeff, I just want to let you know we have about less than 2 minutes left. I just want to know what exactly has to happen for this school's lockdown to be lifted.
Again, it's on the on-scene commander is going to decide that. It looks like they're still thoroughly examining each room. That leads me to believe maybe they're still looking for the knife or making sure there's no other weapons that are involved that another student could pick it up, or there would be something retaliatory against one student versus another student, or if they're connected with family, friends, you can make that connection. And their presence on the campus is just to make sure everybody's calmed down, school has resumed, everybody's back in the classrooms, they can lift the lock in place and proceed as normal, as close to normal as you can get. Then you go into your release process, which is the same as any other day. Parents pick up their kids at the normal places, everybody gets released. But looking at the calmness of everybody on this campus from your overview, from your drone pictures, it looks like it's going textbook perfect. And so seeing this 2 weeks into the school year is reassuring to parents how thorough and how responsive and how safety-based that they are for their children. And this makes me feel good of seeing what they're doing.
Sure, Jeff. I think there is a good point you're making about the fact that the training is going as it is planned to do. But I will, point out for so many parents that you just don't wish that you have to enact that training, that it has to be real world. And so we're starting to see with Sky 12 here. Jeff, thank you so much. By the way, we really appreciate it. Retired Phoenix Police Commander Jeff Hines. Sky 12 here is showing some of those parents who are gathering. Also, when we had that zoomed out view, Tram, more of the parents in the line in their vehicles here. So the backup is kind of starting there as they're arriving. All of this really kicked off around 11 a.m. And so they are still here now gathering outside of the school. They're not being let on campus. They were told not to come on the campus because there is no active threat. But of course, you understand the parents want to see their children. They want to know they're okay, and they want to let their kids know that they're there for them.
All right, we're going to have much more for you coming up at 12 News at 1. Of course, stay with us for the very latest on this incident that involved two male students, one of whom was stabbed.